Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. Previously, we restored Agata Forest, which is looking quite beauteous right now, but don't you know it, a guy named Waka, a mysterious swordsman of sorts, turned up, and we kind of beat him to a bloody pulp, and he pissed off, mumbling about a prophecy of sorts. Do you know anything about that, Rich?
Yes, well, I mean, Waka's whole deal is that he is, in a way, a sort of prophet-type dealio.
Exposition man is what you're saying.
Yeah, so he likes to give prophecies, and as Isun will begin to call him the half-baked prophet, I think it's quite fitting, to be fair.
I like the running theme of characters seeming important but turning out to be, like, real big shits, honestly. It's quite endearing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's that whole thing of when you're dealing with gods and mythology, it's always quite funny to just undercut the grandeur with them just being absolute arseholes.
You'd think that wouldn't work and it would make, I don't know, just things seem very lightweight. But if you do it right, it makes the impactful moments all that more, like, memorable. It gives them that much more gravity when it actually, you know, when shit starts popping off, essentially.
Well, indeed, and I would say that, as everyone will eventually see with Okami, that's very much the case here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game that plays quite light-heartedly for quite a bit of the journey, but it's very happy to go dark and serious when it needs to, and all pushing physics.
I knew this shit was gonna cause you problems the second I saw it on screen.
So, remember the sleepy bear?
Yes, we all remember.
Well, he's now taken up shop, well, set up his home, here at the top of this hill.
Oh, he's a recurring character.
Yeah! So he's an asshole, and basically we just want to...
No,
It's ball-pushing physics, and it's like the worst hill possible.
Why would they not give you the ability to lock on? That doesn't make any sense.
I know, it drives me up the wall, like, every single time. There's about, I think, 3 different balls that you can get up that are all located within Agata Forest.
Okay.
We are going to be getting all of them up to the top of the hill, but yeah, it's a nightmare. I hate it.
Well, you know, you could have left it out, but I guess it's mandatory or something.
Well, it's not mandatory, but unless you want to do 100%, in which case, yes, it is mandatory.
Okay.
So, yeah, at some point it was going to have to happen, and to be fair, considering I'd never done it before, I did the walkthrough, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to book up and do it, and I will see how it goes and how frustrating it truly is.
I hate myself. Let's go for it.
Yes, it is that horrifying.
Don't end up accidentally selling your holy bones again, mate. Make sure you're on the right screen.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to make that mistake again. Oh, it was just absolutely mortifying.
It was at that moment that Richie knew he fucked up.
Indeed.
So what's the main thrust of this part, mate? What are we going to be doing in Agata Forest, exactly?
So basically, for this part at least anyway, we're just going to explore.
Okay.
We're going to see what's about. I mean, one of the main things is I'm going to get that bloody thing up to the top of the hill, even if it kills me. But we're also just going to meet some of the locals, see what's going on here, see if the plot will decide to push itself along at all.
Sounds a bit like Steven Universe, but go on.
So yeah, it's just one of those exploration-y parts, see what's going on here.
I can't believe you're having to do this. This is amazing.
I know. It gets worse, because the balls get harder and harder to push.
I'll never shit-talk Dusty Desert in 06 again after seeing this.
Yeah, worst ball-pushing physics in a video game ever. I love Okami. I love Okami to death. But this... worst bit of the game for me, to be fair. because it's just so frustrating.
That's an interesting topic to bring up. Can you think of any mechanics, like really shitty mechanics for lack of a better word, in really good games that you've experienced over the years?
I mean, a prime example would be the insta-kill quick-time events in Bayonetta.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, obviously, adore that game to pieces, but those quick-time events are just cruel and unfair, because, I don't know, the button press on them, it's always seemed slightly odd to me. Like, sometimes you think you've got it and you haven't, and sometimes you think, oh, I wasn't on time, but you were, and they just come out of nowhere, and obviously they kill you, so you've got to use a continue, but using a continue is negative on your overall score. So if you're going for like platinum and pure platinum, no, you cannot die. So yeah, I was never a fan of that, and I'm quite glad that they fixed it for Bayonetta 2. And Hideki Kamiya then furthered it in the Wonderful 101 by creating quick time events that were amazing.
Well, at least he fixed it in the end. Alright, my example, a much milder one. I wouldn't even call this shitty. It's just not as good as the rest of the game. The wolf sections from Twilight Princess.
Yes, definitely.
Fair play, they cut down the number of, like, Lightbug tears or whatever that you have to collect in the Wii U version, but it wasn't as much as I would have liked. But, you know, the game looks shinier, so there's that, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to say, I really did enjoy Twilight Princess HD, because obviously, like, I didn't get into the Zelda franchise until really late in the day. Like, it was Ocarina of Time 3D when I got in to the franchise.
A good place to start, because that's the definitive version of it.
It is, yes. And obviously then, since then, I've played every 3D Zelda that's come out, which makes me very happy. But up until that point, no, I hadn't played a single Zelda game. Ooh, got some more dead fish to have a play with.
Fish corpse, for those of you out there of a Japanese persuasion.
Now you get to see that the rosaries are amazing, because when you're on flat ground, you can just keep whipping that rosary out, and it just racks up damage like there is no tomorrow.
As we mentioned in a previous part, it does do like multi-hit damage, but I would imagine like each singular hit of the multi-hit combo is like a tenth of what a normal hit would be from like the reflector or something.
I don't quite know how all the damage stuff works entirely, but something to that effect, yeah. Like, the rosaries are weaker, but they hit faster, and purely because they do hit faster, they are effectively the best weapon in the game.
They look cool as well. I love the visual design of them.
Oh, I know. Like, all of the weapons in the game are amazing. Like, super awesome amazing. I can't wait for you to see all of the different variants as we go along.
Kind of reminds me of, or at least it puts me in mind of a Metal Gear Rising, how you could like unlock different weapons and whatnot as you beat the various Wind of Destruction members. Gonna be honest, I mostly use Mistral's staff throughout the game, because that thing is amazing when you level it up.
It's amazing even when you don't level it up.
It is, yeah, actually.
It's just glorious, and look! There's another ball. So, whilst this is happening, do you want me to do a little bit of trivia on Agata Forest?
Please do, mate.
So, its Japanese name is Agata no Mori, which, in translation, is literally just Agata Forest.
Oh, that's a bit boring.
I know, it is, but I've done a little bit of digging, and apparently the word Agata in Japan means area. So essentially the name for this place is forest area. Because the hilarious thing is that Japanese, from what I've understood of it, is always quite literal.
Yeah, it does seem like a literal language, yeah.
And, I mean, that's great, that's fun, because you can have names and words in Japanese that the second you turn them into English they sound really, really bland, but in Japanese they sound really awesome. But one thing that's quite important is, as we progress through the game, we've already seen Shinshu Field, we've now got Agata Forest. These are actual sort of, well, actually no, they are real locations in Japan. Because obviously, Nippon that we're in at the minute is based on ancient Japan. The name is literally the ancient Japanese name for Japan.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of the names for the locations are located in a very specific bit of Japan, that being the Nagano prefecture.
Okay.
Because that's actually where Hideki Kamiya grew up.
Ah, of course. It's like Shigeru Miyamoto. Like, he looks in his garden, sees ants, boom, it's the Pikmin.
Indeed. So, the Shinshu region of Japan is in the Nagano prefecture, and it's not far from where I think Hideki Kamiya grew up, because I think he grew up in Matsumoto.
Uh-huh.
And in that same region, you've also got Agata Forest Park.
Huh.
There are many other locations that will turn up throughout the game that have a link to this particular region of Japan, and it's just really awesome because when I was playing the game I just did not realise this at all, and it was only when I was doing my research for my walkthrough that I was just like, wait a minute, oh, that's amazing. And it was actually in doing all of this sort of research that led me to a realisation with my novel that I'm working on still. And it was the name of the kingdom that I wanted. Because, like, I've been wondering for years, because I didn't like... Because it used to be called Ryuana. Didn't like that anymore because it just sounded a bit daft. But it was Okami and that particular commentary that led me to settle on Ryushima. For reasons that we will get into later in the game.
Sorry, mate, I nearly fell asleep there pushing the ball up the hill.
Well, yes, so that is Karuda. Or Karud, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but either way. And essentially he's looking for his son. And that kind of gives us an idea of where we need to be going.
Right,
also, we've just purchased a thing called Gold Dust. We now have 3 of these, and it allows us to power up our weapons. So basically, this is just glorious because it makes them more powerful, and all that jazz.
Are you trying to keep it, like, evenly leveled then for the divine weapons?
Well, basically, I just would like to make sure that I try and upgrade them as soon as possible so that I just can blitz as much as possible.
Was it giving you the option to bite the monkey there?
Yes, because you can, with definitely the smaller animals, you can pick them up and walk around with them in your mouth. It's hilarious.
Aww.
There are a few other things in this area. You probably spotted the little hut over there. You spotted that guy just over that way. You also probably spotted somebody, like a little emoticon thing in the distance. So we've got quite a bit to explore, but first I felt we needed to go up here. Because this is, I believe, called the Hitoshi Spring. Which will prove to be quite an important location later on. For now, it's not hugely important, although I would certainly recommend realising that that's there, because that is a nice little shortcut back to Shinshu Field, should you choose to take it.
Does seem to be a big world, so shortcuts will come in handy in the long run.
Indeed. Also, for God's sake, another clover I can't get access to.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's fine, because we'll remember that it's there, and I think that back here there is a chest somewhere. Well, there's a deer, so it's all fine. And I'm going to go and see if I can actually find out, or remember, because when I was doing my commentary the first time, I did a lot of research into Karuda's name, because it was one of the few names that I couldn't actually get a reading on.
Ah, mystery name.
I couldn't actually find any real basis for it, which is odd because most of the names in this are like proper Japanese names, and there just wasn't anything. And I think what I ended up settling on is that, because Karuda's Japanese name is Karyudo. I think it essentially means hunter or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange one, and it's a similar situation with his son, who we will meet in a bit, who's called Kokari.
Ah, Kiba, there's a name I recognise.
Yes. So this guy is Kiba, which you should definitely recognise from Naruto. That's basically the main thing that he is. The word Kiba means fang, so it's very fitting that he is the Demon Fang merchant.
Ooh.
Basically, these Demon Fangs allow us to get artifacts. I think they're called holy artifacts, something along those lines. And basically what these are items that you can attach, like equip to Amaterasu, and they give passive effects.
Oh, okay, so like buffs and such.
So the Peace Bell means that the scrolls are not going to charge towards us whenever we run past them, so we can choose to enter a battle, and we can choose to just walk around them rather than being forced to enter a fight.
That's pretty handy.
And then the Golden Cat basically increases the amount of yen and treasure that we will accumulate in battle, so it's all really useful stuff.
That's the cat with the coin on his head, right?
Yeah.
Basically what Meowth's design originated from.
Yes, definitely. The item that I didn't purchase is the wooden mat. Basically what that allows you to do is it allows you to just rest on the ground and you will get all of your health back at the cost of yen.
Ah, okay. That sounds a little bit like a tent from Kingdom Hearts minus the cost.
Basically, yes. I certainly wouldn't recommend getting it right now. It's easily the least useful holy artifact for early on in the game. However, I would say that it is absolutely integral to having an easier ride in the biggest challenge in the game.
Or the end game. It sounds like a final boss sort of thing.
Well, you see, you would never use it in battle, because it requires you to stop still. And that's just not happening in the middle of a battle, because you need to keep moving. But it is helpful before and after battles, if you want to do that. I'm obviously not going to really do much with it until right near the end of the game, but it's useful for there. Now, Susanna's mentioning Taka Pass, which, funnily enough, also an area that references somewhere in the Nagano Prefecture, I believe. Not quite as specifically, I think, as like Agata Forest and Shinshu Field, but it's in the same ballpark. And if I recall correctly, it's actually a place that I asked Hideki Kamiya himself about. Because, yeah, I actually tweeted him to say, is this a reference to this that I think it is? And he responded and said yes, which was just, like, amazing. So yes, we're basically just slowly working ourselves around Agata Forest. We are very close, actually, to entering the first dungeon in the game, which is quite exciting.
Oh man, I love slicing the enemies in half at the end of a battle.
Oh, I know, it's just so satisfying. Especially when it is a floral finisher, because then it's just like, just all the demon fangs. And you're going to want a load of them.
Oh yeah.
Because there are a lot more holy artifacts to pick up throughout the course of the game. And some of them are quite expensive.
Well, you know, for passive abilities, I'd imagine they'd be expensive.
Well, yes, but, I mean, I would say also, they are so worth it. So very worth it.
Mystery door?
Yes, very major mystery door, which I will tell you now. Entrance to dungeon. Entrance to dungeon. Remember where it is.
Well, I don't have to, since these are pre-recorded videos, but whatevs.
'Tis true, 'tis true. But if anybody's playing along in whatever version, majorly important location, remember where that is. It's unlikely that you'll ever go back to it after you've actually done the dungeon. I mean, to be fair, you don't really do that in Zelda games anyway.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember where it is for now, because we're going to be running all over the place, and it's kind of weird. You see a little child over there. I feel that's probably Kakari, don't you think?
Yeah, it's most likely.
Kakari was another name that I could never properly place.
Isn't it like light or something?
Well, you see, this is the problem, is that it's not actually a... Well, it sort of is a Japanese word, but it sort of isn't. And I think what I settled on was that it's very close, actually, to Kokiri. Which are obviously in Zelda. But I don't think... I think it's a combination of separate Japanese words, at which point I don't really stand a chance of properly dissecting it.
Well, you know, these are video game Let's Plays, not language lessons, so you can be forgiven if you can't get everything, you know, spot on.
I mean, I think if you watch my solo commentary, I did do a pretty damn good job of getting down to potentially the root of the etymology, but I do not have time to try and figure out all that research again.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, it's been so long that like, it's not really that important of a fact. But it is always, like, it's something I've always found fascinating, of looking at the roots of words and where they come from.
Yeah.
I wonder if you guys could see just there in the ground a little thing sticking out?
I missed it. I was looking off screen at my wall, I think.
Yeah, so every now and again, it depends on the ground that you're in, but you can sometimes see little tufts sticking out of the ground, which are the dig spots, which when it turns to night time emit that bright white light to say that, hey, look over here I am.
Ah, okay.
But sometimes you can actually see them in the day, and it's always quite useful when you do, because then you can go, I can just pick this up now and not worry about it. But sometimes they are so tiny in the ground that you're just not paying attention at that point. You're running past, looking at the pretty flowers and grass that's coming up out of Army's feet.
Man, this guy is doing pretty well today. He must be, like, over the moon, because he's like, oh god, this wolf is buying my entire stock. This is amazing. I'm going to eat well this month.
Here's the thing. Obviously, feeding the animals nets you praise. Getting more praise obviously allows you to level up properly, and obviously because of that you want to make sure that you try and keep on top of your feed bags. Because you don't want to run out when you're going to an area, because then you'll have to return to that place if you want to feed the bloody animals.
Right.
So pretty much whenever I go past a merchant, at least until I've fed pretty much all the animals, I'm going to be buying feed bags because I need them. And I mean, to be fair, considering Army doesn't really eat other than filling her astral pouch, I feel she needs to have a stock of something at least, otherwise it'd just be really boring.
Right, yeah. Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, this is also something that's quite funny, is that there are two types of sake that Army can pick up and actually act as items. So what we just picked up there was the Steel Fist sake, I believe, and can't quite remember what it does. I'm just researching now. You see, just forget everything.
I mean, you're only human, mate. That's what Wikipedia was invented for.
Well, yes, exactly. So Steel Fist sake obviously enhances your attack, and then there is Steel Soul sake, which increases your defense. So, obviously, as a wolf, we are able to drink alcohol.
Nice.
You would have thought that would have, like, maybe perhaps caused damage, but no.
What's the point of appearing in a canine form as a god if you can't overcome canine, like, faults? Like, oh, I have a bar of chocolate, dead, game over.
Yeah, that would be a pretty sad end to Okami, wouldn't it?
A really anticlimactic one, yeah. Oh no, Orochi has won, darkness falls. Dark like Cadbury's finest.
Right, I think that's probably enough running about for now. We're going to progress the plot.
Oh, the name is Kokari. I thought you said Hikari. Sorry, we're playing a bit of a dangerous game with Skype cutting out a lot. I think I might have to move over to Discord.
It's looking likely, innit? But yes, it's Kokari. Which, as I said, it sounds very, very similar to, Did I say Kokori? Oh my god. What are the little forest people in Legend of Zelda?
Kokiri, mate.
Kokiri, that's it. I said it earlier in the part and I just went blank.
Those are the worst parts during recording Let's Plays, because you feel so self-conscious.
I know, and you're just like,
A
I
line.
just used that word.
Not so fun fact, I originally thought it was Kokori, and I said that for the longest time, and then it's like, no, you fucking idiot, you immense tool, it's wrong.
So, yes, this kid is an absolute crybaby, because he's lost his dog. Which, I mean, is fair enough. Anybody that loses an animal does tend to get quite upset, because obviously you get attached to animals. I'm less attached to animals as I was, because I did used to have pets, but I don't really anymore, because just do not have time for that.
Right.
But my sister's got a cat, and literally her life revolves around the cat.
Well, cats are cool like that.
'Tis true. So, yes, Kokari has a fishing rod, which is quite helpful. It's not got any, line on it, and it doesn't seem to really have any bait. So we're kind of going to have to help him out here.
See you soon.
Yeah, this is the fishing minigame. So you draw a line to the fish, and then you help him out by basically... It's using the nunchuck control stick to pull. Basically, that was a mistake.
Something's biting.
Basically, you got to pull against the fish, but you can't pull too hard, otherwise the damage meter will go and it'll be bad.
I never did catch that Hylian loach in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, it's basically like that, and every now and again the fish will leap out of the water and you can power slash them to get them closer. Obviously this isn't actually a fish, it's a crab. But it still counted.
Man, I've heard crab's legs are delicious, and just crabs in general.
Yeah, I have heard this as well, but I'm just like, ugh, no. Cannot be doing with crab. So yeah, so we're going to have to do quite a bit of fishing. Not majorly, but basically we want to try and find out where... Well, we know where Ume the dog is, but Kokari lost a key of some description in the river. So we need to catch this absolute massive thing.
Holy shit.
And hopefully it will spit it up.
Come on, jump out the water so I can slash you. Oh my god.
Yep, it is a giant salmon. And yes, this is quite helpful, and this giant salmon is going to give us the key to our first dungeon, which is great.
I've heard crazy excuses for gaining access to a dungeon. I'll just roll with it. By the way, salmon, fucking gorgeous. You grill it up with a bit of butter and whatnot. Mwah.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of salmon.
How dare.
Yes, this is the ruins key, because obviously it looks like that thing that was on the door that we couldn't get through.
It's more of an artifact than a key, but I won't quibble.
We're just going to take that and we're going to go.
That's mine now. I did most of the fishing, okay?
It's quite funny because if you go back towards Kokari with that in your mouth, he will try and hit you and make you drop it. It's hilarious.
I like little touches like that.
I know, it's great. But now we are just going to gun straight for that dungeon.
Nice, mate, nice.
And see where it leads us.
As you guys should know by now, we've put up 2 parts of Okami a day, because, you know, it's a long playthrough and whatnot. So, you have to wait to see the next dungeon. All you gotta do is come back this afternoon, and your old pals Tom and Richie will be waiting for you all. So yeah, go on. Get out of it. There's nothing else to see now. Come back in part 10, you ingrates. Bye!